Hello friends, I am Mohammad Afifuddin and in this video we are going to learn how to calculate the depth of footing. In previous video I told you that it is very important part. Okay. So in this video we are going to learn about how to calculate the depth of footing by shear criteria as well as by bending criteria. And to find out the depth of footing in for shear criteria, there are again two criteria, that is for one-way shear and two-way shear. Then we have to find out the depth of footing for one-way shear criteria, two-way shear criteria, and for bending criteria. And from that, we will take the maximum value or maximum depth of footing. Okay. So first of all, we will see the depth of footing for shear. So we know that footing slab shall be checked in one-way or two-way shear depending upon the nature of bending. And if the slab bends primarily in one way, then we have to check the footing slab in one-way vertical shear. And otherwise, if the slab bends primarily in two-way direction, then we have to check the slab in two-way shear. Okay. And for two-way shear, there is another name also which is called as punching shear. And we will calculate the shear force for both condition, for one-way shear criteria and two-way shear criteria. And we will take the most severe condition. Okay. So firstly, we will see what is one-way shear criteria. We know that one-way shear is similar to the bending shear in slab, considering the footing as a wide beam with a potential diagonal crack extending in a plane across the entire width. Okay, and we will take the critical section for this condition as a vertical section located from the face of column at a distance equal to small d, that is effective depth of footing. Here you can see that in this picture you will get the idea about one-way shear. Here is the footing which has the length L and width B. Okay, and for that one-way shear criteria, the critical section of shear is assumed as a vertical section located from the face of column. This is your column and this is the column face, and it should be at a distance of small d. And what is small d? It is the effective depth of footing. Okay, here you can see that the highlighted part is the critical section for one-way criteria. We know that the critical section for this condition is taken at a distance of d, that is effective depth of footing from the face of column. And to find out the shear force of that shaded area, we have to multiply the area by the upward soil pressure. Okay, because the upward soil pressure is coming there. Okay, and how we will calculate the area of this shaded portion? We have to consider, we know the formula, length into width. Okay, for example, this, again see the picture, this is the shaded part in vertical direction and we know the length of that shaded part is L. And to find out the width of that shaded part, we have to deduct the column width from the total width of the footing. Okay, here you can see that here is the total length or total width and we have to deduct that d. Okay, and the remaining portion will be this part and this part. So we have to divide it by 2, that means b minus capital D divided by 2. Okay, but again we have to minus, we have to deduct the value of small d, that is effective depth. From that we will calculate the critical section width. Here you can see that I have put this in a formula way. Okay, that is L into b minus column width upon 2 minus effective depth, and this is the our area. Okay, area of critical section. Then we, for calculating the shear force of that shaded part or that shaded area, we have to multiply that area with upward soil pressure. But we don't know the value of small d, that is effective width. Of course we are finding this value, so we will put d as unknown and we will form a equation and we will give the number like 1 or a something whatever you want. Okay, so our next step is shear resisted by the concrete. We know the formula of shear resisted by concrete, which is equal to tau c into b into d, and again we are going to put d as an unknown here. Okay, and we will take width as 1 meter. Then we will mark it as a equation number 2. Okay, then we will equate equation number 1 and equation number 2, that is the both values of the shear force, and we will find out our effective depth required for one way shear criteria. Okay, and this is for if your column is square column. Okay, and if your column is rectangular in shape, then you have to find out the depth and shear force in both direction. Okay, we have to find out the shaded vertical shaded part also and for horizontal shaded part also. Okay, and after that we have to take the maximum value of effective depth which is required for one way shear. Then we will see two-way shear. It indicates the tendency of column to punch through the footing slab. As we know that if you are not getting this point, you can take a paper and pen, okay, and hold the pen in vertical direction and insert it into the paper. That means it is punching. Okay. Similarly, the footing slab gets punched by column. Okay, and according to IS 456 of 2000, the punching shear, or we can call as a two-way shear, has to be checked along the surface of the truncated cone around the column load, which should be at a distance of d by 2 from the column face. That means the critical section will be at d by 2 distance from the face of the column. Okay, here in this picture, here in this diagram, you can see that for two-way shear, the critical section will be d by 2 distance from the face of column. Here the footing is given as L into B. Okay, and this is our column, and the critical section starts at a distance of d by 2 from the face of column. Okay, here you can see that all the four sides we have taken the distance of d by 2 from the face of column, and this shaded area is our critical section. So how we will calculate the shear force of that shaded area? Again, we know that we will calculate the shear force by multiplying it by upward soil pressure and area of footing or area of critical section. Okay, so we know the area of footing, that is L into capital B. Okay, we will get the throughout area, but we have to minus that column portion as well as d by 2 distance from all four faces. That means from the whole area we have to deduct the area at d by 2 distance. And how we will calculate the area of d by 2 distance? We know it is L into B, but in this case we know that it is B plus d by 2 plus d by 2. Okay, so d by 2 plus d by 2 is d. Okay, so we can say that b plus d, and in the vertical direction it is d, capital D, plus d by 2 plus d by 2. Okay, so it is equal to d plus small d. So we can multiply d plus small d by b plus small d, so we will get the area at d by 2 distance. Okay, so from that we can find out the shear force of shaded area. Okay, here I simplified the formula, that is capital L into capital B, and it is the area of footing minus capital D plus small d into B plus small d, and it is the area at d by 2 distance. And after multiplying it by the upward soil pressure, we can calculate the shear force on shaded area. But remember that our d, that is small d effective depth, is unknown here. So again we will mark it as equation number 3 or something you like. Okay. Then we will calculate the shear resisted by concrete, which is equal to tau c into b into small d. Here we will take b, that is width is equal to 1 meter, and d is unknown, and we will mark it as a equation, and then we will equate both the values of shear force and we will find out the effective depth. And there is a similar note here. If your column is rectangular in shape, then you have to find out the shear and depth in both direction, and you have to take the maximum value for depth of slab footing. Okay. Next step is to find out the depth of footing for bending moment criteria. And the critical section for bending moment criteria is from the face of the column. You can see in this photo here the critical section is from the face of column itself. So we can find out the bending moment per meter width, which is equal to, here the shaded portion will be capital B minus small b, which will give this area and this area. So after dividing by it by 2, we can find out this width, that is b minus small b upon 2. Similarly, in vertical direction, if your column is rectangular, then it will be L minus capital D upon 2. Okay, and if your column is a square, then you can take the similar width, or you can calculate it once only. Okay, so b minus small b upon 2, that is the width, into upward soil pressure into this width by 2. Why we are taking this width by 2? Because the bending moment is acting in the middle. Okay, so we will take here, you can simply see the simplified format or simplified formula, which is equal to b minus b upon 2 into upward soil pressure into half of b minus b upon 2. Okay, then after that we have to find out the limiting bending moment for that particular footing, and we have to equate this bending moment and limiting bending moment, and we have to find out the value of effective depth. Okay, so until now we have three values of effective depth. One we have calculated from one-way shear criteria. Second, we have calculated from two-way shear criteria or punching shear criteria. And third value we have calculated here from bending moment criteria. So here note that we have to take the maximum depth value obtained from shear and bending calculation, and we have to provide that depth only. So with this we have completed the calculation of depth of footing. Okay, thank you.